Well, she's halfway over this heart.
What is in a name? Have you ever noticed that sometimes, even though you live down the street or even in the same town as one of your closest friends or relatives, you still don't see them or talk to them or even call them or hang out with them as often as you should or as often as you think you should? It's as though closeness has become a relative thing. It is so easy in this day and age, and I realized this the other day, that I have so many people that live within an hour's drive of me that I don't see for months on end. And then I wonder what they're up to. I wonder how their life is going. And then you get to the point where you're just like, I want to see this person, I want to hang out with this person, but you can't. It's They're so far off in their life and you're so far off in yours, and you just don't get there. Sometimes it's like we let our lives overwhelm us. We don't make the time, we don't take the time like we should. It's like we don't value human interaction as much as we used to. Slowly and little by little, all of those sci-fi books and writings and stories and everything from the past, they're coming true. Asimov has alluded to the fact that we're going to let machines replace people. And it's true. We're letting machines slowly take over where we are, who we are, instead of just trying to make the effort. And I'm so guilty of not even trying. Even though I have people right there, fingers, and I'm horrible. I'm terrible. I think of myself as a horrible friend because I don't go out of my way to even text people. But then it's just, I get so wrapped up in the notion that, oh, I don't want to inconvenience them or anything. And that's probably as much of a lie as anything. Kind of like the whole, it's easy to believe that you're not good enough for anyone type of thing. And that's a lie that most of us fall for. And I'm guilty of that one. Just this weekend. Just you think, oh, I'm definitely not good enough. There are things that I want to do with my life, and then I get so overwhelmed with self-doubt. And then I'm like, oh, nobody would support me if I had the chance to be supported, but that's not true. So many people really would. It's just that so many people haven't come right out and straight out said, hey, look, I support you, and yes, you're good enough for me. Sometimes what I need is someone to just grab me with their strong arms or weak arms or whatever arms they have and just hold me close and whisper lightly in my ear, yes, I love you, and yes, I believe in you. And then push me back across the threshold and out into the world and say, now go out there. You belong out there. Tough love. It's tough love. Sometimes we fall into this trap of comparing ourselves to others. I'm reading a very, very amazing book called Hector in the Search for Happiness. And basically, the first lesson in that book was drawing comparisons to, and I am paraphrasing, drawing comparisons to other people can ruin your happiness. Well, at the point I'm at in the book, they've decided that comparing can also help you in your happiness. Realizing what you have compared to what other people have, or not focusing on the negativity so much. But there's also the negative part of comparing yourself to other people. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not as beautiful as that person, I'm less cut out for success or anything like that. And it's not true. I mean, people are just as beautiful as the next person. Beauty is a relative term. Some people, they look great on the outside. They're the most beautiful, stunning person that you'll ever see, but they're monsters on the inside. Sometimes there are monsters on the outside that are monsters on the inside, and sometimes there are monsters on the outside that are just these angelic, sweet people. And sometimes there are the beautiful people on the outside that are just as beautiful on the inside. They say that your inner emotions radiate, and that the more of the emotion that you hold on to eventually starts to push itself out. And, there's the saying, garbage in, garbage out. I think that it's the same with negativity. It's the same with happiness as well. It's the same with positivity. Is too much of a good thing a bad thing? Because we all know that too much of a bad thing is a bad thing. Is there such thing as too much of a good thing being bad? I don't know. I have random musings, and that's pretty much. If you're so full of negative energy, how is the world really perceiving you? If you're beating yourself up on the inside and you're just tearing yourself apart, do people see that? Do they see that manifested on your physical form? If so, that explains a lot. A lot. But I always seem to get to a point where I forget about the people who really, really love me and who really care about me and who truly support me. Sometimes I get so annoyed when I hear too much of a good thing said to me. People constantly saying, I love you. But that's one of those things I take for granted. I don't hear it often, so when I do, it's overwhelming. And it's pretty sad that something so strong and so beautiful as love is taken advantage of, and people just don't appreciate it. I know I don't. But I've been learning a lot about myself this year. A lot about myself. And there's still the rest of this month, which is almost over, and then December, and then the beginning of a whole new year. Whole new lessons to be learned. And growing up, you never really stop doing it. If you're not opening yourself up to lessons, are you really an effective human being? If you're not trying to open yourself up to other people, how can you learn about yourself? If you're not receptive, if you're heinous, if you just shut others out, how can you learn? How can you reflect if you don't have a reflection in which to look? And sometimes you can see yourself reflected on other people. I read this article once that sometimes the things that you hate the most about other people is actually the thing you hate most about yourself. And isn't that just creepy to think about? Some of the things that annoy you most about the other person, you probably don't even realize you do it, or that you were just so overwhelmed by it, or you've been doing it for years that you just forget. Think of all the things that annoy you, and just think of that. Anyway, that is my kind of downer vlog, but I felt the need to vlog. So, bye.
She's not gone yet, but she's leaving.